Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the greatest rock and roll stories in the universe, all from the fans' perspective. It's Rock Stories with the Brummster. Now, here's the host of the show, my rockin' daddy, the Brummster.
Hey, what's happening? Rock Stories with the Brummster, right here on the Brummster. That's 2M's Spotify channel, and of course as well, every Sunday at 11 a.m., rockradio559.com. Get the app today, Rock Radio 559, Google Play Store, Apple App Store. Get B-sides, over 5,000 songs loaded up, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. All the classic rock and new rock genres, B-sides, like I said, you get real vinyl weekends. And of course, Hard Drive at 5 with the Brummster after Hopper comes on and does Good Times, Great Oldies. Every Friday from 4 to 5, he does Good Times, Great Oldies. The Brummster comes in from 5 to 6 doing Hard Drive at 5 with the Brummster, real great classic rock. And a lot of fun. Then finally, a Friday, the soundtrack for your weekend, Rock Radio 559. Get the app. Every Sunday, Rock Stories with the Brummster podcast. This show right here airs at Rock Radio 559 and, of course, on demand at the Brummster Spotify channel. Welcome to Rock Stories with the Brummster. Real rock stories from the fans' perspective. And that's why we created this show. And also, of course, to be a time machine to help you live vicariously through the authentic stories of our awesome guests. Today is no different. I'm excited. My friend Jason Preston, he's got a great show coming up. We're going to be having him on the program coming up soon as well for his rock stories. And a show he has that's like an 80s themed rock show. What it would be like. They play at the Whisky, a go-go, longest running band, Fast Times. And it's like, what would it be like to walk in when Motley Crue is playing at the Whisky, a go-go in the 1980s? And they recreate that. They're coming up over, I think, August 27th at the Visalia Fox Theater. And we'll have him on to tell you more about that coming up soon. But he's also friends with our guest today, and he a great recommendation. I'm so glad that you made yourself available for us. Dani Inc., live from the Rainbow Room right now. How are you, Dani? Welcome to Rock Stories with the Brummster.
Hi, what the fuck did I get myself into?
You're in trouble now. We've got the truth meter on. No, I'm so glad you came, man. Thanks for coming on the show. So you're at the Rainbow Room live right now. A lot of history there, right? A lot of history, a lot of rock history.
Oh, yeah, totally. So I'm going to clear something up right now. This is a common misconception. This is not called the Rainbow Room. This is called the Rainbow Bar and Grill.
Rainbow Bar and Grill.
Rainbow Bar and Grill on the Sunset Strip. The Rainbow Room was in New York.
That's
so
right.
Everybody calls it the Rainbow Room, and that's not what it's called. We know what people mean whenever they say it, but it's not what it's called.
The Rainbow Bar and Grill.
The Rainbow Bar and Grill, the Rainbow, the Bow. To people who are regulars here, they just call it the Bow.
We're going to the Bow,
let's go to the Bow. Yeah, pretty much.
How cool.
So, yeah, essentially what it is.
And you have a lot of friends. It sounds like it's a very friendly environment, right?
Well, yeah. I've been here 9.5 years now. Like, I've worked here a long time. I know a lot of people. I have a lot of regulars. A lot of cool rock stars come in. It's just a fun time. Like, that's why I work here, and that's why I've been here so long, because it's just fucking fun.
And you get to be yourself, huh?
Well, yeah. Oh, yeah. I love cussing at people. Like, not at them, but to them. Like, when they ask me, hey, can I get a Budweiser? I'm like, fuck yeah, you can. I'm going to go get that for you.
You're at the Rainbow Bar and Grill. What do you think, dude?
Yeah. And people love it. Like, people love it. I'm like, fuck yeah, let's go. Let's party. Who wants some fucking shots? I'll do one with you. Let's go.
You're fun. You're fun. You enjoy yourself.
I have my moments. Yeah, I do.
And so who are some of the folks that you've met over the years that our listeners they're here to live vicariously through this time machine?
Yeah.
I heard you've met some pretty interesting folks, some interesting characters over the years at the Rainbow Bar and Grill.
Oh yeah. I've met so many people. Like they still come in here. Like Sebastian Bach was just in the other day. I've met, dude, everybody from like, I've met Rob Lowe here. I've met, oh God, Ozzy Osbourne. I've met Billy Gibbons. I've met, my favorite, Dave Grohl. He's always my fave.
What are they
He's
eating? What are they eating or having when they're there usually?
Well, first time I ever met Dave Grohl, he was eating a pizza. And he couldn't finish it. And I was like, finish your fucking pizza, Dave. And he's like, I can't. Like, it was that kind of situation. He's, like, really funny. He has a good time, and everybody has a good time. That's why we like Dave, because he's just so, so lovely. He and Taylor used to come in all the time, and R.I.P., what a sweet man.
Oh, man.
Sweet people.
Yeah. So you knew him in the flesh. He was really good people, wasn't he?
Oh my God, he was so kind, and like he had his kids in one time, the cutest fucking kids you've ever seen, and they were just so cute and just sweet people. Sweet.
Oh, that is, man.
Yeah, I don't really have a lot of bad stories. Like everybody, because tourists come in here and they're like, "Ooh, who have you met? Let's tell some stories. Who's an asshole? Who's really cool?" To be honest, like nobody's an asshole.
Yeah.
I've never really, like there's been a couple of people that have kind of disappointed me. That I was like, oh, you're not as funny as you are on TV or whatever. But it's more like everybody's so nice. Like I've seen a couple people be not great to their fans. Not gonna lie, but somebody who was always amazing to his fans was Lemmy from Motorhead. He was in here all the time, and he was always amazing to his fans. Like, people would come and offer to buy him a drink, and he would be like, "Nope, I'm gonna buy you a drink. Sit down." And he would just talk to them. Like they were friends, and he knew if it weren't for his fans, he would not be who he was.
Oh, some of the best stories, I love real stories, but not all bashing up the hotel room. Sometimes it's just, having real lives and finding out some of the interesting stories that happen in those real lives. Like Ozzy coming in, and I watch him and Jack all the time on their world detour going around, and he's real people, isn't he?
Oh yeah, absolutely. He's so nice. I was actually just talking about Ozzy today. So one of the girls that works here, she hadn't been working here very long, and she was walking up to work, and she was walking up listening to Black Sabbath on her little earbuds, and she looks up when she walks in the door, and there's Ozzy Osbourne right in front of her.
What
and
are
she's
the
like,
odds?
it's so fucking surreal. Just listening to a Black Sabbath, and I look up and it's fucking awesome.
That's insane.
Like,
that's insane. Yeah. That is insane.
She's like, it's just like, and that's kind of the shit that happens here, like, I'm literally walking up to the vampire lair right now, actually.
Ozzy,
it's so loud.
Ozzy loves ice cream. Ice cream. He said, I can't do my drugs anymore or drink alcohol, so you're not going to take away my ice cream. Does he get a nice scoop every time he's there with his dinner?
I don't know about every time, but I've seen him eat ice cream.
There you go. Yeah. There you go.
Yeah. He's so nice, but like, I've met pretty much I think I've met all the Osbornes here. Kelly is the sweetest. She's the sweetest. Like, when I first met her, I didn't even know it was her. Like, for some reason, my brain didn't even recognize it. And I was like, oh my God, your purse is adorable. And she's like, oh, my mom got it for me. And then I realized after I heard her talk, I was like, oh my God, you're Kelly Osbourne. But yeah, she was so nice. Like, most people are really down to earth. Like I said, every so often you'll kind of come across somebody who's a little bit, not as nice.
But I like the nice stories. Actually, the nice side of rock and roll's cool too, man. The real lives of these people are cool, not just the act they play on stage. although sometimes they cross back and forth and the two people are the same people, the private star and the public star, right? But it's so cool. Their family, you know, I've seen Dee Snider of Twisted Sister with his family, and I'm like, that dude's a good family man, you know, and then you see him dressed up, right?
The thing about Dee Snider, he never hung out here in the 80s because he didn't drink. He never drank or did drugs. And so, like, I last fall, I was actually at a wedding. Hashtag I caught the bouquet. Yay. Good for me. But he officiated the wedding. He's a professional, professional, but he's ordained to do weddings. And he did my friend's wedding. And he was so funny. And he was just so sweet. And he's been with his wife for so long. And it was just really lovely. It was just a lovely time, and he just captivated everybody. Like, he almost overshadowed the bride and groom because he was so great, and he was just so nice to everyone, and you know, he's just really sweet.
His personality is that overwhelming. Like, it's that awesome. Like, he's got a great personality.
Oh, yeah. And he's just that guy. Like, some people, you know, like you see them and they're like, yeah, what's up? And then you meet them in person and they're like quiet, or they're more reserved, or they're shy, or whatever. Like the guys from Steel Panther, they're a fucking hoot. Let me tell you what. But I'm friends with the guy who actually is touring with them now as a bass player. And I've met all the guys through him. And the guitar player for Steel Panther, his stage name is Satchel, but I met him after a show one time, and, you know, and he was just so quiet, and he was like, I was like, dude, you fucking wail on the guitar, you're so talented, and he's like, thank you so much, that's so lovely, thank you for saying that, I appreciate you, and he was so humble, and just really nice, and I was expecting him to be like, yeah, fuck yeah, whoa, because that's what he tells on stage, you know, but he was just so down to earth, and like, you know, because on stage he's kind of an asshole, you know, but that's his shtick, you know. He's like, yeah, fuck yeah, you know. But I love Steel Panther. I'm a big Steel Panther fan.
Steel Panther coming to a theater near you.
Yeah. However, Michael Starr, the singer of Steel Panther, is exactly like he is on stage. He is so outgoing, and he's like, yeah, he's just friendly, and he's just fun, and just so kind, and just, you know, he and his wife are just beautiful humans. So I met so many people.
That is awesome. And you mentioned Dee Snider earlier. You know, you remember Tipper Gore and the people trying to go against the First Amendment. I mean, of course, they're worried about filth with kids, and I get that. I'm not anti some of those family efforts, but they were basically railing against the First Amendment. They were going too far. They brought in Dee Snider, and I think Frank Zappa as well. And Snider gets up there and is defending the First Amendment. And they're basically saying, you call yourself a Christian with all that cussing? And he's like, you don't know my heart. God only knows my heart. And that's actually what the Bible says. So it's crazy when the Bible becomes rock and roll. Isn't that nuts, the world that we live in?
Yeah, it's so weird. Like, it's really intense. But
Man. Wow. And so all these people.
Yeah, I've met some really cool people, and Billy Gibbons is a really, really sweet guy. He's really nice. He lives across from here, actually, and he used to come in all the time, like pre-COVID, you know. And I recently, was that a year ago? Maybe not even quite a year ago. He had his birthday party at the Troubadour, so I ended up going to the Troubadour with a friend of mine. My friend had an extra ticket, and he's like, "Come on!" So we went, and no sooner did I get in the door, and I run into somebody that I know who takes us backstage at the Troubadour. And I'd never even been to the Troubadour at this point, which is really weird, but I hadn't. And go in and takes me backstage. And so we're backstage, and after Billy gets off stage, he's like hanging out with everybody, and he's talking to everybody. And my friend, of course, was geeking out hard, but but it's just such a good time.
Hey, the Troubadour, that's where a lot of stars, Elton John, so many stars got some big starts at the Troubadour, man.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's the thing. The Troubadour, the Whisky, like the Roxy, the Viper Room, like these are iconic places. The Viper Room's getting torn down next year. how fucked up is that? Like, it's really, it really sucks. But yeah, like working here is just like being a part of rock and roll history, man.
Right.
And it's just like, I, got to be here. And, we recently had it would have been Ronnie James Dio's 80th birthday. And we had, Sirius was doing a thing with Eddie Trunk. He did an interview with a bunch of people. Sebastian Bach was here, and Wendy Dio. And Wendy Dio is really good friends with the owner, and she comes in a good bit, and she is lovely. Let me tell you how amazing she is. And the first time I met her, she's like, I used to work here. And I was like, what, you worked here? And she's like, yeah, in the 70s. That's how she met Ronnie, and she worked here at the Rainbow.
No way.
I didn't know that. I never knew that. And I was like, that's amazing. And they were together for so long, R.I.P. also. But, she's just so kind and just so sweet. And she had a big party here, and it was just really lovely. And everybody's so nice. Like, I just get shocked. And she's just and she's so relatable because she, like I said, she worked here just like I do.
Right.
And she was here in the 70s, in the heyday. 70s, 80s.
Well, the people like Dave Grohl and, all of the other people that you've described as well, fans, we see them on this side of fame, but we forget they're real people. They're just like us. They just got blessed and it went further with their craft than, and didn't have to, put in air conditioners or fix cars, but before they became stars, they were doing that and playing at all these places and earning their way. Dave Grohl talks about that. And, not being anti-American Idol totally myself, I sort of think there's a place for it. But I love what Dave says. Like they would tell Bob Dylan he was too pitchy, right? There's a grinding it out kind of thing, right? Like real rock stars, they know how to go grind it out and get the fan base naturally, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Things are different now because of Instagram and TikTok, and all these people are TikTok famous, but they didn't have to do the whole play for pay circuit. They didn't have to hand out flyers on the street, like the bands used to have to do, It's really, it's so strange how things are now. It's really interesting.
Right.
How things have changed.
Right.
Yeah,
Now the gateway isn't all in the hands of the rich guy or the manager anymore either, and that's a good thing because it's democratized rock and roll from that standpoint. More people can participate. But at the same time, I've seen it in radio as well. When they kicked out the DJs and voice tracked everything, the personality went away. And over the years, you mentioned Eddie Trunk with Sirius was there for the Dio birthday party. And yes, rest in peace, Ronnie. That's a big loss for rock and roll. You've had a lot of different radio promotions probably come through there over the years as well, huh?
Oh yeah, we get so many promotions. We get when Megadeth came out with their beer, they had a beer and they had a big party for it, like a release thing. And Dave Mustaine was here signing shit. He signed a guitar with the beer logo on it and put it up on the wall. It's up on the wall right now. We have so much stuff in the people come in to see all this stuff on the walls and it just everybody comes here and does cool shit because it's a cool place.
I gotta know what type of beer is the Megadeth beer. And no, I'm not Googling it. I'm just gonna trust your word. What?
So it's like a Belgian kind of, and people really like it. It's all right. Don't hate me, but I forget the name of the brewery who did it. But it's a craft beer. People really love it, and
but it's a Belgian ale.
I should know this. I work there.
The Megadeth beer.
Yeah, it's kind of like a Belgian. It's really good, and people really love it.
It'll kick your ass, man.
Yeah, I don't actually drink beer. I don't drink beer, so I've never tasted it because I don't like beer. But I'm straight to liquor kind of gal. But people love it. Not just the fans, just people are like, this is really good fucking beer. Because a lot of times you get something with somebody's name on it, people are going to buy it just because says Megadeth on it. But the fact that he cared enough to actually come up or like work with a company that came up with a really good beer is really a cool thing.
Right. Right.
You know,
we're more artists are not just one trick ponies. John Mellencamp, like myself, I do radio and I also do acrylic painting. Just picked it up, recently. Artists are not one trick ponies. John Mellencamp paints and he rocks. Like, so he's a craft brewer and of course a star of Megadeth. Right? It's like they're not one trick ponies. They're amazing folks. They have other lives besides the road, right?
Yeah, exactly. There's so many things like, they don't just rock, Some people do, but a lot of them have other stuff going on too.
Sorry, all I do is rock. Thank you.
That's all I do.
Right.
I just rock.
That's all I
rock
do.
for a fucking living. That's what I do.
Yeah, I do nothing but. No. That's so awesome. Rock Stories with the Brummster, Dani Inc. She's at the Rainbow Bar and Grill on the Sunset Strip, right? And, she's there right now actually recounting some awesome rock stories, real rock stories with the Brummster. Sundays at 11 on Rock Radio 559. Get the app, Real Rock Stories with the Brummster, every Sunday at 11 at rockradio559.com, the best rock channel in the history of the universe. And of course, Rock Stories with the Brummster on demand at the Brummster Spotify channel. And the Brummster is with 2 M's. Yeah, that's right. If you see 1 M, get out of Dodge, right, Dani? Okay.
Exactly.
What do you like? What's your favorite? You've been talking a lot about people, but something tells me you have a badass, awesome taste in music as well. What's your fave, man?
I feel like I'm going to disappoint you with this one. So I actually, I'm a singer, and I was trained in musical theater. So I actually know, I sing a lot of, musical theater, but I also have been in a rock band and such. I played Janis Joplin for about 4 months at one point in my life, in my career, and that was really intense. I got to sing and beat her in a show.
That's rad.
It was fantastic. Yeah.
Wow.
So I love Janis. She was such a pioneer and just so had this crazy natural talent. She was never trained. Like, she wasn't a trained singer, but she just fucking wailed, and she was amazing.
What'd you do to become her? Like an actor goes through steps to basically become the character. What steps did you go through or prep did you do to try to become her?
I drank a lot of Southern Comfort.
Woo! That's right. I forgot. She drank. Oh.
Yeah. I actually walked into my audition drinking out of a bottle of Southern Comfort. Like, I walked into the audition in full costume. Like, I went to a vintage shop and I bought like clothes that I thought that she might wear, and there's some really awesome vintage shops in LA. So I was like, fuck yeah. So I went and got that, grabbed a bottle of Southern Comfort, and just went in drunk and just wailed. And I got the part.
You are in. You made it. You're in, man.
Yeah. I almost didn't audition either because I was like, I could never play Janis. No, I could never do that. And one of one of the guys in the company was like, you should do it. And I was like, fuck, I'll just do it. So yeah, I just walked in, just stumbling, just fucked up, and I just sang, and I wailed my face off, and apparently it was good, and I got the role.
There's that little voice inside of all of us when we want to do something amazing, and there's that little negative voice that says, oh, you can't do that. And sometimes you have to just tell it to go shut the hell up and shove it up its ass and get out of my way. I'm just going to do it, even though I feel what I feel. That's what courage is. It's not the absence of fear. It's doing it anyway, afraid. And I'm proud of you, man. That's awesome. That's 4 years.
The irony of it is, years before this, I was in a rock band, and we did a lot of covers, and the guys in my band kept saying, why don't you do Piece of My Heart? Why don't you do me and Bobby McGee? And I was like, absolutely not. I'm not touching that. no, if I can't do it amazing, I'm not going to do it. And I refused to do Janice with the band, and the guys always wanted me to, and I was like, no, I can't do it. So I always said, no, that's disrespecting her. I couldn't do her justice. No. Then years later, whenever I had this audition, I was like, you know what, fuck it. And I just went balls to the wall, balls out. I was just like, all right, I'm doing it. And, the music director who I, was friends with, and he was like, holy shit, that was crazy. So, yeah. So I didn't even go in as me either. I just went in full character, and I just didn't drop character until the director was like, okay, so can I talk to Dani now? And I was like, oh, hi.
Is Dani in there?
Yeah, so I took the glasses off, and I took like some of the beads off, and and I took the bangles off, and then I was like, okay, I'm here. And so yeah, so I had a friend who came to the show because it was like a 3 or 4 month run, I believe, and he came to the show opening night, and he was like, that was really good. He's like, this is just a little, you can go a little further. And then he came like throughout the run, and I remember one of the last shows he was there, and he took me aside after the show, and he was like, you just keep getting better and better. Like, what are you doing? This is amazing. Like, you're always good, but this is just fantastic. And I was like, I just keep getting drunker and drunker for every show. And I was just waiting for the show.
Well, Janice, in other words, you literally were being as true to that character as possible, and that's how it came out. Yeah. Like, that was your goal ultimately, not just to drink. Like, you literally wanted to be her.
No. Yeah, like I literally so at the beginning of the run, I would do like a shot just so I would like smell like her, and I had a bottle of Southern Comfort in my hand, and and I just wanted that. But then after a while, I just kept drinking more and more, and I just got really into being her. And I don't remember a couple of the shows because I got so drunk, and nobody noticed. And nobody seemed to know. Even my castmates, like if other people on the show, like before I was drinking a whole bunch, I was pretending to be drunk. And they're like, Dani, are you drunk? And I'm like, no, I'm acting, you weirdos. But then after a while, I was just like, fuck it. I just started just getting drunk. And I just got really into it.
That's like Dean Martin and all them, the Rat Pack back in the days. They just always had a drink in their hand and a cigarette just all the time. Do they? No, this is California, right? Or is there smoking? It's outside now, right? Or is it not allowed there anymore? I remember growing up, everyone smoked when I was a kid.
Yeah, not for years. It hasn't been allowed inside for years. But we have a smoking patio where we allow people to smoke cigarettes, and like a lot of people want to go to the bar outside because they can smoke. And that's where Lemmy was, and he was always sitting at the outside bar smoking a cigarette and drinking his Jack Daniels, and that's what he did. And we now call a Jack and Coke a Lemmy because that is what he drank.
Oh, that is so cool. Our patio now we refer to as Lemmy's Lounge in honor of him since he's passed away. Rainbow Bar and Grill, Sunset Strip, Dani Inc. with us live from the Rainbow Bar Grill. That's where she's at now, and that's how Rainbow she knows Bar and Grill, yeah. Rainbow Bar, and she knows all these rock stars, and that's where these awesome life experiences and real rock stories with the Brummster today are coming from live there. Recording live from the Rainbow Bar and Grill. Wow. And we didn't even plan to talk. We figured we'd just chat, and next thing you know, here we are doing it to it. You're such a willing victim. A great volunteer. Thank you. We really
Yeah, I'm always a willing victim.
Oh, man. Well, hey, and do you sing anything else, or do you have any other favorites, your favorite bands, your favorite rock stars that you enjoy musically? By the way, Janice was spot on. That's so cool that you did that.
Yeah, like obviously I never got to meet her because she died long before I was born. But yeah, she was great. One person that I've never met that I've been wanting to meet. I'm a big fan of Aerosmith, and I wanted to meet Steven Tyler, and he's been here. There was one time he came, and it was my day off, and he was here taking photos with everybody, and I didn't find out about it until Facebook the next day. I think it was in my acting class or something like, not nearly as exciting. And and I was so mad. And after that, I made sure everybody knew, like, listen, Steven Tyler comes in here, I'm coming. Like, I will be here. You have to let me know. So there was one time he was in here, but he didn't look well, so I didn't. I think he just had he just had a heart attack, I think. So I didn't go approach him or anything, and I almost did, but I was so close to him, and I was like, oh my God. I never geek out. I never get starstruck, but I was having a panic attack that day because I thought I would get to meet him. Yeah. But then he didn't look well, so I didn't approach him.
You know who?
But normally he's really good about taking photos.
You know who gets like that? Folks who are hardcore Beatle fans, like my Aunt Sue, and the fans on the Run, Paul McCartney fans. They are just like the ultimate fans. Talk about getting starstruck. Some of the stories they tell on past Rock Stories with the Brummster episodes are amazing. But I like this one too, where it's like, you're a fan, but you're a fan because you've got to know these people almost as friends, basically, right?
I mean, so, we don't go picnic together or anything. But
we don't play Monopoly every Wednesday night.
Yeah, no, it's not like we have game night or something. No, but so one of my favorites, he's a regular here, and he's so lovely to his fans all the time. Sebastian Bach, he comes in a lot, and his wife is absolutely gorgeous, wonderful humans, lovely people. But years ago, I was here, and he had just had a show. I want to say it was at the Troubadour, but I could be wrong. Don't quote me. But he came, and he told everybody after the show, meet me at the Rainbow. Let's all go to the Rainbow. So it got fucking psycho-packed in here after his show. I think it was on like a Tuesday or some shit like that. It was so, like, normally not a crazy day. So I was taking care of him, and it was the end of the night, and our last call song here is Somewhere Over the Rainbow by Judy Garland. Because, number one, it's the rainbow, Somewhere Over the Rainbow, but it also is very jarring when you're listening to, like, Slayer, or you're listening to Typo Negative, or you're listening to even just Motley Crue or Guns N' Roses, and then all of a sudden Judy Garland comes on. That's like, oof, that's time to turn the lights on, get the fuck out, finish up your drinks, get out. So he was here, and I was singing it. I didn't even notice that I was singing it. And I was singing it kind of to myself, and he heard me. And he was like, sing louder. And I was like, well, shit. I don't want to sing in front of Sebastian Bach, but when Sebastian Bach says sing louder, you fucking sing louder. And he'd been drinking. He likes his wine. So he was, he has a very special wine that he likes to drink. So, so he was like, sing louder. So I ended up singing. I'm like singing Somewhere Over the Rainbow in front of Sebastian Bach, and he starts singing with me. And we're belting Somewhere Over the Rainbow across the table to each other. And, at the end, he goes, damn, girl, you got some pipes. And I was like, thank you. And I totally ran away because I was so embarrassed.
I love Sebastian Bach. I love that dude. Every time I saw him on The Apprentice, I saw him on Saturday Night Live back in the day. In other words, I'm talking about non-rock. Obviously, we all saw him rock with Slaughter, etc. We know he kicks ass, 100%. But his personality is so cool.
He's so
man.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just like a cool dude, and he's like classically trained, and he's been on Broadway. Like, and he's like, the night I was singing with him, he had just done a full show, and he was drinking afterwards, and he still sounded like exactly like he did in the 80s.
Wow.
Like, and because so many of these, these guys, they don't exactly sing like they used to, because they didn't take care of their voice and they're not trained. But they're really good, but they're just not because the drugs and alcohol are just time, man, not taking care of yourself. And he is just so talented. He's just fantastic. And he sounds just like he always did.
Man, hey, is he gonna get back out on the road, or do you know if he's doing anything? I haven't heard anything recently.
I don't know. I never really. I don't really ask him. I don't really ask him too many questions.
So you going on the road? No, seriously.
Yeah.
My wife and I, we're wine connoisseurs. We love going to Tobin James over at the Central Coast in Paso Robles, or Paso Robles, if you want to say it correctly. Put your pinky out.
Where are you located anyway? I don't even know where you are.
I live in central San Joaquin Valley, the breadbasket of the world, in Tulare County. And we...
In California? Is that in California? I don't even know.
Yeah, California,
okay.
just
didn't even know.
about 45 minutes south of Fresno, born in Hanford, California. Same place as Steve Perry, man, from Journey. Yeah. Totally.
Yeah, Steve Perry, man, what a fucking voice.
Right?
Yeah. Mhm. Dude, it's so much fun. Like I get to live out like fucking rock and roll fantasies. So, we were talking, you had mentioned Jason earlier. That's how I got to know, that's the hookup here. And Jason, does the 80s night at the Whiskey A Go-Go every Monday. Super fun. If you're in LA, come to 80s night at the Whiskey A Go-Go. Monday nights, fucking awesome. Fast Times is the band. And so I got to know how I met Jason is through the band, and because I was friends with the drummer, and then I ended up being friends with all of the band members, and they found out I could sing. And the one time the bass player pulled me on stage, and he had me sing in his mic. He had me sing backup, and so I was like, hitting all the high notes. And what were we saying? I think it was Bon Jovi, and then we sang "Sweet Child of Mine." And so I'm hitting the high notes, and then and the singer was shocked because he had never heard me sing before, and he was like, "What the fuck?" So the next week, I'm up on stage dancing because they like to pull girls on stage and dance and stuff, and then Johnny, the singer, is just like, "So Danny's just going to take this one," and I was like, "What?" And so he just gave me the mic, and I just sang "Sweet Child of Mine" on stage at the fucking Whiskey A Go-Go.
Oh my God, we're so many stars.
And I had about
how many
five,
How many stars have been in the
seconds.
same of about 5 drinks?
Yeah. Well, I had 5 seconds notice. He's like, "Oh, Danny's gonna." They had already started playing the intro.
Oh.
And he's like, "Danny's gonna sing." I had no idea. I had 5 seconds to prepare myself to sing at the Whiskey fucking Go-Go. 5 seconds.
How many stars have been on that stage or in that same place where you were singing, right? Like what kind? Like you're standing on hollowed rock and roll ground, basically, right?
Well, it's funny because I was just talking to the owner. The owner was just being interviewed for some talk show or something, and the owner was talking about the rainbow. And it's funny, and I was talking to him about afterwards, but he said this thing which is really hysterical, because they were talking about how many bands have played at the Whiskey A Go-Go. And he's like, it's actually more of a fun game to play who hasn't played at the Whiskey A Go-Go.
Oh.
And there's only a handful of famous bands who haven't played the Whiskey A Go-Go. And until recently, Kiss never did either. And then they had this big show a few years ago at the Whiskey A Go-Go, and they hadn't played ever. But there's so few people. But he did mention Nirvana. Nirvana never played at the Whiskey.
Wow.
And I never even knew that. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? That's insane.
Jason's band Fast Times, not band, actually show. It's amazing. It's like it's
a whole show.
It's a rock and roll experience. Talk about that. What is it like? Is it like a time machine, what it would have been like kind of thing?
Well, what's really cool about it is each of the band members is a character. So the lead singer is Spicoli from Fast Times at Ridgemont High. The bass player is Nikki Sixx. The guitar player is Slash. The drummer is Devo. They all dress like this. And it's such a situation. And I was working day shift on a Monday, and this group of lovely Canadians came in, and they were like, it's our last night in LA. What do we do on a Monday night? And I was like, well. And so I got them on the list at the Whiskey. I called Jason. I was like, yo, I got some peeps. And I sent them down, and I was like, find Jason, and he will take care of you. And he took such good care of them. He had them up in the dressing room upstairs in the green room. Nobody gets to go up there. That's not a thing. Fans don't get to go to the dressing room and the green room at the Whiskey A Go-Go. but these people got to because I called Jason and I made a call and he's like, oh, they're great. And they were the coolest crew. And they were just geeking out so hard. And the one lady, she's like, oh my God, Nikki Sixx is so hot. And I'm like, well, he's Nikki Sixx. Of course he's hot. So, my friend who is the bass player, I was like, I have somebody that I want you to meet after the show. And I brought him and she got to meet him and take pictures with him. And the guys are just so much fun. And it's such a rock and roll, experience and, smoke and the lights and, the guitar, the drum solo. It's fucking ridiculous. They're such amazing musicians, but they're such fun dudes as well.
And there's so much BS going on in the world right now with war and politics and the pandemic and all that crap. And people want to go have fun and rock out again and not, they want to have that back. And would you say that it's coming back? Would you say that people are really experiencing it again and actually not taking it for granted? I know we all did, didn't we? We took it for granted when we had it taken away, huh?
Oh, absolutely. People, it's coming back, man. It's all coming back. There are still people who are really cautious because maybe their work or, they live with somebody older or take care of their kids. But in general, people are fucking back and they're partying up a storm. They're fucking ready. They're ready to go. They're selling out, the whiskey. They're selling out, the Viper Room. They're fucking packing them in because people want to go out. They want to feel that again. And they missed it for so long. It was, 2 years or whatever the fuck it was. They want to be back. Fast Time's first Monday back after the pandemic, because obviously they didn't play for 2 years or whatever it was. Their first night back was the biggest night they've ever had. It was packed in the Whiskey because everybody was so excited to come to see a fucking show. And it was packed. And it was even more packed than the night I had my birthday party there, which was pretty fucking packed. But I had my birthday party at the Whiskey for Fast Times a couple of years ago, and it was completely insane.
People appreciate rock and roll again more so than ever,
Dude.
Especially live rock. I mean, live shows like Fast Times, huh?
Yeah, there's nothing like a live show. And, even if it's not the original band or whatever, tribute bands are fucking huge right now. I have friends in an all-girl Guns N' Roses tribute. They're called Paradise Kitty. They're fucking fantastic. They tour all over the world. They just went to India. People love it. And even though it's not Guns N' Roses, it's not as expensive as Guns N' Roses. And it's hot girls, amazing musicians who are also hot girls singing and playing.
Take me down to the Paradise Kitty with a grass suit, man. Right on. That's
they're amazing.
Clever name. Very clever.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they're great, and they've been doing this for years. And then there's the Iron Maidens. They fucking pack everything. Actually, on Saturday, Saturday is my birthday.
Happy birthday!
Yay! Thank you. So I actually have a table. I got a table at the Whiskey A Go Go. And there's a band called Yachtly Crew, and they are freaking huge. And all they do is play yacht rock. They play yacht rock from the 70s and 80s, and they pack the house. People are drunk and having a good time. They're drinking. They're fucking nuts. They're having a blast. And it's a little cheesy because it's, yacht rock. And it's so cool, and they put on such a good show because these guys are such phenomenal musicians. The lead singer is just so on point. It's a show, just like Fast Times. It's a show. They wear the captain's hats and the blazers like they're on a yacht. And it's so amazing. And when I found out they were playing on my birthday, I was like, I'm getting a table and I'm going to go.
Is the ownership over at the Rainbow Bar and Grill where you work and you're at right now? Rock Stories with the Brummster, Dani Inc. with us live from the Rainbow Bar and Grill, telling some awesome rock stories. Thanks for being here. I'm curious, has ownership been consistent over the years, or has it changed hands several times? Or you've been there for 9 years now?
Yeah, I've been there I've been here 9 years. It's the same owners. So the Whiskey and the Rainbow are owned by the same family. And originally it was Mario Maglieri, and unfortunately R.I.P. He passed away in 2017. And his son and grandson now run everything, Michael and Mike. So Michael now owns everything, and Mike, he's the grandson of the original owner, and he runs everything. He runs the whiskey, he runs the Rainbow. And it's not going anywhere. It's staying in the family. This is what they do. And it's been the same owners for this long. And there's actually a really cool documentary about the Rainbow. It's called The Rainbow, and it's about the whiskey and the Rainbow. I believe, I want to say it's on Amazon right now. I don't know. It might have, if it's still on there, I know it was at one point. I'm even making a little appearance in the documentary. You can see me running around. But it's so informative about everything. And, you know, Mario and Miguel, he was our head chef. He passed away as well. And Lemmy, and there's a really great tribute to them at the end. And they talk about it, like all of them, and they talk about how Mario, and there's an interview with Mario, there's an interview with Michael, and there's an interview with Mike, Michael's son. So like all of these guys, and Mike grew up in this. Like there was not a time in his life where his family did not own the Whiskey A Go-Go and the Rainbow. Like he grew up like a little kid hanging out with rock stars. Like this is what he did. Like, and now like he's running this place, and I love that it's such a family establishment.
So it's important.
And that's actually how I got my table.
It's important. It's important to them, right, to keep it the same as what they grew up around. They're keeping it authentic for the fans, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Just I want to say right before the pandemic, they made the Whiskey and the Rainbow official landmarks of West Hollywood.
Oh, how cool!
So they are official landmarks, so they can't be torn down.
Historical.
Not without jumping through hoops and shit. But yeah, so the Rainbow and the Whiskey are here to stay. And everybody's like, oh, I heard the Rainbow's shutting down. I heard this. The Viper Room is getting torn down, but not the Whiskey, not the Rainbow. We are not going anywhere.
Yeah, we're going to tear it down. You and what army? The Kiss Army.
Yeah, right. So yeah, like it's history, man, and it's not going anywhere, and they do their best to keep everything exactly the same as it was. Like I have people coming in here after not being here for 20, 30 years, and they walk in, they're like, everything's exactly the fucking same. And then they go upstairs to the bathroom, and then they're like, okay, they remodeled the bathroom, thank goodness. But
yeah, there's battery operated dispensers on the wall now, and so that's. But other than that, it's 100% the same except different. No,
yeah, but it's exactly the same.
Now, food. I'm a big guy, so I like to eat. What would you recommend if I come in for lunch or dinner, or I don't know when's the best time to eat there? What would you recommend that the fans of the Whiskey A Go-Go or the Rainbow Bar and Grill would grub down on or want to grub down on if they come in there?
So, what we're known for our pizza, and we're known for our homemade chicken soup. Our homemade chicken soup is Scarlett's recipe. Scarlett as Mario's widow. So in Scarlett, it had this amazing chicken soup recipe, and it's been the same recipe for the 50 years we've been open. It's been the same recipe, and people come in after years, and they're like, is the soup still the same? And I'm like, if it's not, I won't charge you for it. And it's always the same, and people are amazed at how it's exactly the same soup.
Yeah, because
it's exactly the same pizza.
Usually when it goes down, even in the family, someone wants to start saving some money, so they bring in a canned this or, you know what I mean, or dehydrated XYZ instead, or substitutions. And no, we're keeping authentico, basically.
Yeah, no, 100%. And they use really fresh ingredients. Nothing is frozen. Everything is made in the back. Like even our fried mozzarella. Like you think, oh, it's like frozen and throw it in the thing. No, we cut up mozzarella cheese and we bread it and we deep fry it in our kitchen and serve it, and people go apeshit because it's so fucking good. Like that's just what we do, and the quality has never changed because they want to keep it the best quality they can. And people are amazed at how good the food is because they're like, oh, I just thought that's where everybody came to get wasted and do cocaine in the 80s, but they actually have good food. Who knew? Yeah, you know.
Back in the 80s, doing cocaine, you weren't eating too much, but...
Yeah, exactly.
Well...
But so a lot of people, like, are shocked at how great the food is. But that's why a lot of the celebrities still come in, because the food's so good.
Right. And it reminds them of their good times as well when they get to
Yeah.
Because when you taste something, you smell the ambiance in the air, you see everything on the wall, you know you're in a comfortable place where you feel at home, basically, right?
Yeah. Well, when James Brown used to come in all the time, and apparently, and I just heard this the other day from the owner, this is the only place he would eat. He would only eat at the Rainbow when he was in town. Like, he wouldn't eat at any other place but the Rainbow because he loved the food. And the food is so good. And it's been the same ever since. Like, it's not really changed much.
You're making me so hungry, man. You're making me hungry.
Well, actually, it's funny. One of my favorite things here, which isn't the most popular item, but anytime I recommend it and people get it, they're, like, shocked at how awesome it is. We have homemade lasagna. That we have, and it's kind of like a secret thing on the menu. Like, not everybody knows about. Everybody knows about the pizza and the chicken soup, but because that's just famous. But like, the lasagna is homemade. The cheese ravioli is homemade. Like, everything is so fantastic. It's just so good. Now I want lasagna. God damn it!
You're making me hungry. Yeah,
I'm making myself hungry.
Yeah, you've done a great job, and I have a feeling we could have you even back for another episode down the road. So I hope you don't mind if I call you back for another round of chatting, especially if you've got something going on that you want to promote or talk about. I'd love to have you back anytime. This has been awesome having you on Rock Stories with the Brummster Dani Inc. You're the bomb.
Yeah, I'm not really that interesting.
No, you are. I want to have you back. I think it's great. And remind our folks again, if they want to ever meet you and they want to have a chance to enjoy the ambiance and the experience of the Whiskey A Go-Go and Rainbow Bar and Grill, how'd you recommend? Are you guys online? Your shows? I know you talked about Fast Times. But let our listeners know if they ever want to meet you and or experience some of the great experiences you've talked about tonight. How would they best do that?
Just come to the fucking Rainbow, guys. Just come to the Rainbow. Come to the Whiskey. You can go online. You can go so Rainbow has an Instagram page. You can go on there. You can just, you can follow me on Instagram. It's Danielle Inc. 13. I'm on Instagram. It's pretty much just pictures of me and my dog. But, sometimes they're pictures from here, like behind the bar with me acting like an idiot, But it's just come in. Just come in. As soon as you walk in, say, where the fuck is Dani? And they will show you where I am if I'm there. They'll be like, oh, that bitch. That crazy redheaded girl. You see the crazy redhead and they know who you're talking about.
There she is, Miss America.
And, every Monday is 80s night with Fast Times. And it is such a cool experience. Come in, have lunch on a Monday or dinner before you go to the show and talk to me and I'll walk you in and maybe I'll take you upstairs. Who knows?
Ooh, I love it. I love it. Vicariously living through you today, Dani. Wow.
Well, somebody gotta.
Yeah, it's a hard job, but someone's got to do it, right?
I know, it's so difficult. My life is really hard. I don't know if you know that. I have such a hard life.
Yeah.
I get to hang out with rock stars and get drunk all the time.
You know what I love? You know what I love? It's like, I can tell that you just happen to drink, but you're just a happy, fun person. Like you you love life, right?
Oh yeah. Nobody wants not some people want a crappy bartender, but not everybody, people come in here to experience shit and they don't want me being shitty at them. They want to see that I like my job. They come to my bar and they're like, this bitch she likes what she does. I get people drunk for a living. I get paid I call myself the party liaison because, like, I keep you drunk and I get you having a good time. We're singing, we're dancing behind the bar, whatever. Like, and people are so happy to be here. And I tell them stories just like I did for you today. But I tell them stories about things, and they're just shocked, and they love it. And they're just like, this is amazing. It's great.
I can't wait to come to the whiskey, or excuse me, you guys are, the same ownership, of course, but the Rainbow Bar and Grill, when my wife and I venture down to Southern California, I want to make sure we stop in there and try some of that lasagna and some of those homemade mozzarella sticks. Yeah. Oh my God.
You're making chicken soup.
Oh, wow. Wow. We're there, man. We're there.
Yeah, it's the best time. And, you can't really have a bad time when you're just hanging out in the Rainbow or going to the Whiskey for a show. Well,
we have rocked out vicariously through you today, and I apologize. I got to run coming up to a hard break. You have been such a star of the show today. Thank you so much for sharing everything with us. We appreciate it, man.
Yeah. It was an unexpected surprise, but it's fun.
It worked out. Well, I'm going to get this posted here soon, and it will be at the Brummster Spotify channel, and it'll play. It plays every Sunday, the show at Rock Radio 559, but I'll make sure that I text you so that you can check it out and share it if you like, or listen to it. I'll text you the link once we get it uploaded later tonight or tomorrow morning. And this is awesome having you on. What a pleasure having you here today, Dani Inc. We really appreciate you.
Well, I enjoyed myself. Anytime.
Excellent. All right. Have a good one, and tell everyone at the Rainbow Bar and Grill that the Brummster loves them and love you too. Thanks so much. Have a rockin' day.
All right, you too, Josh.
All right, thanks.
Bye.
Bye. Rock stories with the Brummster, real rock stories from the fan's perspective, and right there, the ultimate fan. I know Brian for Rock Radio 559 probably had to do a lot of bleeps. Of course, we didn't bleep it at the Brummster Spotify channel. I know it's a family program, so I'll make sure to put in the subject of the show that you want to make sure that ears that are older are listening to it if you happen to be listening to that episode. But real life is real life, and she is a cool chick and has a great time and has a great life and loves people. And I'm so glad that we got her on the program today to tell real rock stories with me, the Brummster, and for you, our fans. Thanks for being on the show. Coming up, Fast Times. It's an 80s show, plays every Monday night at the Whisky a Go-Go, right there down in Southern California, but Sunset Strip area down there. Wow, like Whiskey, and then you go over there to the Whisky a Go-Go, and you go over to the Rainbow Bar and Grill, and you can just have a great time. They'll set you up, man. They'll set you up. It is a lot of fun. But Fast Times is also going to be doing a kick-ass 80s rock show, and Rock Radio 559 and the Brummster totally welcome them to the Visalia Fox Theater coming up August 27th. We'll have more info and details coming up on how you can go to that show soon. All right, here in Visalia, California, Central California. We are Visalia's classic rock station, Rock Radio 559. And also as well at the Brummster Spotify channel. Thanks for rocking with the Brummster. Rock on.